Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. This is for an upcoming date when I'm probably not going to be able to. Well, I'm so down in the dumps right now. I was getting ready. I said, let me go. I'm going to go cut the grass. It's going to be all nice and cut. It only takes me 45, at the max, 45 minutes after all the cleanup and the sweeping and everything. And then I said, oh, I think I hear raindrops. Doesn't sound right. And then I heard more, and then it just a deluge. Had to go shut all the windows. Now they're open again. I said, man, now we're looking at five hours before I can start cutting. So I was really down. I should have started at 8 o'clock. It was so windy out here. The grass was dry. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. But I kept saying, oh, no, I'm going to wait. Oh, well. All right. We're doing our nice silver white clear rum taste challenge. And two brands that are kind of obscure. But in Louisiana, one is very prominent. One is not too well known. But apparently in Texas, everybody gets it. From 1989, Ron Pontalba white rum. 1989, it was $6.99 for this liter bottle at Ricky's Liquor in Kenner, Louisiana. True story, Ricky's. Doesn't look like they changed the label since 1989, but it's not a bad label. Look like a Ocean Pacific t-shirt. So I was looking at some old years, about a year ago. I was looking at an old Google image search, and they were showing old advertisements for something called Pontalba rum from the 1930s, and it was saying made in New Orleans, produced in New Orleans by Sazerac Company. Back then, we're talking about 90 years ago. Pontalba rum. But then it would just, like, you didn't see any more ads after that, and something happened and it went away. But in 1989, they reintroduced Ron Pontalba. But it used to be Pontalba. Now it's Ron Pontalba. It means Pontalba rum is what it means. Same thing. Named after Michaela Almanastor de Pontalba. Michaela Almanastor de Pontalba. She was a Spanish grandee. She was born in Spanish Louisiana. So she was a Creole. A Creole is a white person born in America. All right. So Criollo. So she was born here, but her family was from Spain. She was a grandee, lesser nobility, like, say, a baron. She was a baroness. She married the Baron de Pontalba of France. And they had some children who basically went and lived in France, and their descendants live in France today. But she stayed in Louisiana when it became a U.S. territory and later a state. And she got very involved in the real estate business, and she created these very expensive apartments in Jackson Square, the Place de Armes, Place de Armes, surrounding the central square in New Orleans, which was built along the lines of like a French square, place. And that's why if you go to the French Quarter, it looks like something you'd see in Spain or France. And those are still available today for rent if you have about $6,000 or $7,000 a month. The most expensive public housing project in America is owned by the state of Louisiana. And there's Almanastor Boulevard in New Orleans. Okay, so her name continues today. Michaela Almanastor de Pontalba, which she had no relationship to this brand whatsoever. They just co-opted her name and used it in their, marketing. Oh, well, that's how that works. Cheers, Ronald. Good morning, Ron, says Maxwell. Hello to you guys. All right. The competitor from 2015, a new kid on the block. This is the Cane Run Estate, but now known as only Cane Run. So I got this last year, and the estate has been dropped. Now it's just Cane Run from Trinidad, the island of Trinidad, recipe number 12. Now, every time I make a video, I say, what happened to recipe number 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1? Yeah, there's only the number 12. You say, that sounds like some kind of marketing business. You got it, man. Just like Dickel number 8 and Dickel number 12. Marketing business. Where's the Dickel number 11, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1? You say, oh, I guess they don't have those. Right. And Dickel number 12 and number 8 were introduced in 1964. And after all that time, 57 years, they never did get around to making the recipe number 11, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. How's the weather in Louisiana? Well, it's rainy. The ducks are loving it. The frogs are loving it. And I'm hating it because I need to cut the grass, and I'm not cutting in wet grass. And I thought today is the day that I'm going to be able to cut this grass. It's going to be so nice. It's going to be beautiful, like just like when you first got married. Believe me, I don't know what to say to her, but didn't work out. But I still have many hours, and I only need 40 minutes to cut. 45 max, 40 low, 45 max, and I can do it. But I got to have some sunlight, and it's very overcast and rainy right now. It's disgusting. All right. But it's like, that's an irritation or an inconvenience. It's not like West Louisiana, Lake Charles, Lafayette, Opelousas area where they're having flooding where people are dying. Like literally, they have cars underneath the water like a submarine. It's very bad. So here it's just an irritation, thank God. Goodfellas. Darryl Macias says, Goodfellas. Goodfellas. What do I know for Goodfellas? You're not going to get a divorce. She'll never give him a divorce. She might kill him, but she'll never give him a divorce. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, nice cream colored cap, cream colored label. This is bottled in Frankfort, Kentucky at Worldwide Importers. Yeah, that's called Buffalo Trace. Now, if you go to the Buffalo Trace Distillery tour, you're gonna hear about Old Charter. You're gonna hear about Barton. Well, you might hear about very old Barton. You'll hear about Blanton's. You're gonna hear about Ancient Age, perhaps. You're gonna hear about Pappy Van Winkle, but you're not gonna hear about Ron Pontalba. You're not going to see Ron Pontalba. You're not going to see James Fox Canadian whiskey. Why is that? Because Buffalo Trace. Oh man, I got this poured out wrong, and I don't want to drink this much. Let's see what I can do. Because Buffalo Trace is going to portray itself in tours and whatever as a bourbon distillery. You know, it's like we're about bourbon. We are about bourbon over here. Yeah, but oh yeah. Oh, damnation. Now the rain is coming back. Oh, I got to clean this up. This is bad. I didn't pay $6.99 a liter to dump it all out. I'll be right back. So they're not going to really focus on their blending and bottling of Canadian whiskey, cheap Caribbean rum, you know, some cheap tequila like Tijuana, but that's where it's bottled. Spilled it on my shorts, short pants. It's interesting though, really, because if I went to Buffalo Trace, I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to see all the bottling and products they don't want you to see. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like at Rochester, New York, Genesee. when I went to Buffalo Trace, I was a little disappointed because I knew that there was much more to their operations than the little bourbon showcase that they gave us, which was very nice. And it lasted a good hour and a half. And they give you a lot of free samples and whatnot. They did talk about Wheatley vodka. But I would like to see them be a little bit more forthright and say, look, okay, we bottle James Fox cheap Canadian whiskey here. It's been on the market for 47 years. We do that, 46 years. But they don't want to deal with it. And when I went to Rochester, New York, to Genesee Brewing, they were really cagey and kept things close to the vest. They don't even let you see the brewing operations. They just show you this little, what they call a pilot brewery. I called it a showcase brewery, where you see a few little things, a snippet of what they do, but not the real operations. And I mean, they don't want you out on the floor seeing them canning dog bite 10% hobo disgusting beer. They don't want to see you doing that, but they make it. I tried it. It was, terrible. But I don't know. I'd just like to see the whole story, but I guess it ain't gonna happen. All right. Calm down. Oh man, I can't pour this back into the bottle. It's just gonna spill. I'm not here to waste it. I guess it's not too profound. All right, look. The Cane Run is like a grass, very grassy and wood product. They're using apparently cane sugar syrup, like if you squeeze the stalk, just the syrup. That's what it is. Syrup. It's like juice, cane juice, sugar cane juice, I guess you call it. I guess if you evaporate the water off, it becomes syrup. Okay. Then the rum Pontalba is using, we don't know what, and we don't know where it's from. That's why it's $6.99 a liter, because they ain't going to tell you much, because nobody cares anyway. Who buys this? You say that's a ridiculous question. We all know who buys it. People that want to pay the least amount possible for the cheapest white rum that doesn't make them rich. Okay, fine. In other words, it's a bar rum. You order a overpriced cocktail, a rum cocktail, and they're going to use this, and you're going to be delighted to pay $8.50 or $9.50 a glass, and even though you paid about $9 too much. All right. But to be fair to Sazerac, I am criticizing, but I shouldn't. It says, we love to hear from our customers. 1-866-729-3722. Then they give you the website, www.sazerac.com, and email info@sazerac.com. And they do answer their phone calls. They don't make you answer a bunch of questions like, if you want to speak to this, press this. If you want to speak to this, press this. No, you just call and they pick up the phone and say, can I help you? And they'll tell you what you need to know, and they'll tell you where to find the product. They'll tell you who carries it, when the last time they had it, who does have it, who their producers are. I mean, they're very open in that sense, because I guess who calls them, I mean, how many people call them except aside from eccentric beer, wine, and liquor reviewers on the internet? I guess one time they asked me, are you with a television station or something? I said, I wish I was. I said, no, I'm just a consumer. Oh, okay. They were still nice. All right, here we go. This rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Mouth open. You can taste the fumes on your tongue. True story. It's very grassy. It's like grass. Oh, the Cane Run price, $9.99. True story. $9.99 for this huge bottle. Is that the normal price? No. If you check on Total Wine and More's website right now, it's $17.99. So I got it for $8 cheaper. An outrageously low price, which you can expect to never see that price. I mean, let's be honest. But I'm here. I'm finding the prices, and I'm not totally jumping on to the bandwagon, because I have so many bottles of liquor now that it's sad in a way. And so Even if I went to Walmart and they had all these things for $5 and all crazy, I just can't get it. I can't. It's too much. It's too much. It's out of control. So I just have to, like, say, I'm not going over there. I'm not going to go look, because if I know I'm going to find. If I go every 2 weeks, I'm going to find something. I know. It happened 2 weeks ago with that mezcal, Sombra Yolan. Everybody else got it $32. And I mean, everybody, $32. Walmart, $15. Who's going to pass that up? Not me. My friend David's like, get me a bottle. You got your money. I cannot pass it. He's like me, can't pass up a deal. So the way I do it is I don't go. This is same. This is very similar. Grassy and slight sugariness. Okay. Is it possible? Is it possible that the cane run and the Pontalba, Ron Pontalba White, are distilled at the same location in Trinidad? Well, I think it's quite possible, because they smell very similar, and on the label here, they're not giving you a whole lot of information. It just said imported from the Caribbean islands, plural. Bottled by Wide World Importers, Frankfort, Kentucky. Not a real company. It's Sazerac, but like the man told me on the phone, we have like 600 alias names. And they're not the only company that does that. So it could be very well, be from Trinidad. Is it the same product in two different label designs? Well, now, let's just say viewer discretion is advised. All right. Cheers. Taste time. I hear the mail out there. Well, at least I can look at the mail. God, it's raining. Gotta cut the grass. How do you cut the grass? It's raining every day. It's not that high. It just, I like it to look nice, neat, and trimmed, okay? Is it super sugary sweet? No. Is it super dry and grassy and harsh and wood barrel, oak barrel? No, it isn't. It's very balanced. And I think I said that in the last video this morning, that the cane run was balanced, but it had a certain grassy note, certainly obvious grassy note. Whereas the Skull Dry White was just starkly dry, just dry to the bone. It was just like wood. And but it was interesting, and I like it, and I would recommend Skull Dry White. But these are very similar. This is like these four little steps you take when you sip it. It's like grassy, and this is for both of these, grassy sugarcane stalk. Then there's like a charcoal filtering, and they say on their they don't tell you what kind of wood they use. They might use more than one wood. Could be hickory, cherry, oak. Hickory, cherry, oak. Hackberry, who knows what kind of wood they're using in their charcoal filtering blend. And then you get a sugary sweetness, but it isn't overdone at all. It's very muted and restrained. So it's funny though, because I'm talking about these like there's some kind of technical triumph. You know, they are really good, but then you bring in Bacardi Superior and just wipes them all out. You know, it just like destroys them all. But that's another day. It's like those blended Scotch whiskeys. I was saying, oh, this one is intriguing, and oh, this one is so interesting, and this one has some things you never would have expected to detect, and so on. And they're all good in their, well, maybe not the Grants, but they're all interesting on their own merits. And then you bring in the Johnny Walker Blue Label. It just annihilates it just kills them all. It's like never a contest, you know. But And I expect that with the Bacardi. But that, like I said, that's another time. FD says, Ron, would you ever look at getting any beer sponsorships? Not if it involved any kind of effort. You know what I'm saying? Like if they want to sponsor me and give me free beer and I don't have to do anything actually, then I would do it. You say, well, beer companies aren't going to do that. I know. So I'm never going to get it. I'd rather not be sponsored or anything. I don't want to have these people on my case, you know, like on my back. I'd rather just do the videos and say, this is what I think, and then post it and then go to the next one. Oh, that is some harsh, no, wrong word. That is some pronounced, woody, sugary, charcoaly rumminess. These are not made for drinking neat. You say, well, you're drinking them neat, aren't you, dumb? I know. I am drinking them neat. Now, could I add water to that? Yeah, I could add water, and I could add ice, but I'm just trying to do them neat. Would most people in the world want to drink these neat at room temperature? No way, no way, no way, no how, no way, no why, no whys, and no way. They're not designed. They're really not designed for that. So am I drinking them against their purpose? Their raison d'etre. I am drinking them against their purpose. I don't mean drinking them. I don't drink rum. I'm tasting them. Am I tasting them against their general purpose? I am doing that. But I try to keep a control. I don't know if it's a control group, because that would like really be related to the subject matter of each various experiment. But I think I'm using a general control, and the general control over these taste challenges that I'm drinking every. Keep using the word drinking. I don't know where that's coming from. I'm tasting everything neat, no ice added, no flavorings added, no simple syrup or bitters or anything. So I'm tasting them neat and at room temperature, for good or ill, and sometimes ill, I guess. But it helps me because people can't so easily say I'm trying to job it. You know, you're trying to job the contest so you can get it right. Really? I must be one of the worst manipulators on earth because I get them wrong about at least 30% of the time. I don't know, it could be 40, but I don't think it's that high. So, man, if I was trying to manipulate this, I would try to get it correct at least 90%, you know, make it look real. 90% of the time, get it right, and then make it 10% I get it wrong, make it look legitimate. Like at a casino, you win 10% of the time. The house takes the other 90% of the wins, but then you feel like you're earning something. You're not. You're playing a rigged game, but you feel like you're not getting ripped off, but you are, you know. Would you believe Food for Less ran out of 22-ounce Guinness Extra? Says Mackerel. I would believe that. What's your favorite seltzer? The whatever one I'm not drinking. My favorite beer-based seltzer is whichever one I'm not drinking. Well, this is pretty close. It's kind of like a tie, honestly. Now, you might come in with a counterpoint and say, they're both from Sazerac. They're both bottled in Kentucky. They're both cheap. What do you know, relatively cheap. So what do you think? I think that they're probably very similar. If not, I didn't say that. I'm saying if not, in fact, the same product with two different labels. This I do not know. And, you know, not out here on the internet trying to make enemies. Let's see, 1,050. times 1,000. It's close. It's really close. And it's not the correct price. So, you know, I paid $6.99 for a liter. Do an internet search. Do an internet search. You're not going to find this anywhere, and I mean anywhere, for $6.49. I'm sorry, $6.99 a liter. It just is not going to happen. Now you might find it for $8.99 a liter, which is actually a very good price. But you're not going to find it for $6.99 a liter. But that's what I paid. Now, even more outrageous. Let me recalculate it because I already forgot. I'm so absent-minded. Yeah. This, if this was converted to a liter bottle, it's a 1,000, 1 liter plus 750. So this is a liter bottle plus a regular bottle. But if I converted it to a liter price, it would be $5.71. True story. So $5.71. Okay. You're not going to find this for $5.71 a liter. All right, let's get this straight. You will not find this for $5.71 a liter. You might find it for $12 a liter, and that's stretching it. It's unlikely that you would find it for that price, but it could perhaps happen, but chances are it won't. So we're talking $17.99 for this handle bottle at Total Wine, probably looking at $12 for a liter. And maybe let's say $10 for the regular bottle regular bottle. This $6.99 a liter. Yeah, not the normal price. It's probably more like $8.99 everywhere else on earth. Coors Seltzer. I've never had it, thankfully. I've never had it, thankfully, and hopefully I never will. All right, let's go with the. I'm not actually an anti-seltzerite. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to round up seltzers and ship them to some kind of camp. You know, I'm a fanatic. I'm not a maniac. I'm not mentally ill about seltzers. But what I'm saying is I don't really like them. They don't usually have a very good flavor. And when they do have a flavor, it's quite thin. Secondly, they don't look nice. They look like just like seltzer water. There's no coloring added. And that's an aesthetic treatment, psychological thing, I guess. So if I never drank another seltzer product in my life, I would be delighted. There's the garbage truck. Good sign, good sign, good sign, good sign. We need some light, we need some sunlight. I'm telling you, if the sun came out for 1 hour, it would dry up the whole yard. I could cut it with no problem. But golly gee, I don't have much confidence. Nope. These are 96% similar and 4% different. And that ain't much of a difference, and it's not worth remarking. I think I know which is which, only because the I think the Ron Pontalba had a little bit more in the glass, and I didn't want to keep adding cane run, and so I got more left. So I think this is the Ron Pontalba, and I think this is the cane run, and I think they're even to the greatest extent possible. They're not completely even, but they're, you know, for all intents and purposes, the same thing. So if you were shopping for one of these, one or the other, and chances are you never would be, because most people in the world say, if I was going to buy a silver rum, I'd buy Bacardi, thank you very much, or Captain Morgan. And I get that. You know, I'm cool with that. I don't take offense. I don't take offense because I search around. I don't search around. I just shop around. You know what I mean? I'd just be looking around, not with any kind of great purpose. And I'll say, ooh, what is this weird thing? And I'll buy it. You know, I'm not like on that lookout. I wasn't on the lookout for cane run. Believe me, I was not. I just saw it. I said, oh, I'm familiar. I know about this product. I said, $9.99. I can't pass it up. So that's the way that works. So I would say shop price. And when you finish doing that, shop price. Are you going to get anything world-class, fantastic, wonderful? No. But then, of course, you knew that already because you know you're not going to pay $9.99 for a handle and get something that's world class. You know that. I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to have a video channel to tell you that. But the more important part of this is that they're not bad or horrible or, outrageously sick, sickly, you know what I mean? Like just sucking, like Matthew in they're not like a sport. The lowest form of sucking, they're all right. So it just goes to show you, you can pay a little and get a relatively high payout. So what I paid for these two together, $9.90. I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, $16.98. I paid $16.98 plus tax for this huge amount of rum. And they're actually pretty dang good. So just goes to show you, you can pay a little bit and get a pretty huge payout. Does that happen in beer? Not typically. It does not happen in beer. Now, there are some exceptions. This is probably not the case anymore, but years ago, you could get Genesee cream ale for low prices, like $13.99 for a 30-pack. It's probably more like $18.99 now with our Biden inflation, Trump inflation, Biden inflation, Trump inflation, Biden inflation, Trump inflation, Biden inflation, Trump, Biden inflation, Trump, Biden inflation. So, the good old days are dead and gone. So you're not going to find that. But and in beer today, you can get natural ice and or Keystone Ice for $19.99 a 30-pack, and those are very serviceable and they're enjoyable. And I plan to drink them today later with various and sundry snacks and or main meal items. So it can be done. But there is a risk factor because some of these beer brands, and those days are more like 10 years ago. Now, it's not so common. Now, I think a lot of those like outlaw, I guess you call them outlaw beer brands, died away because people just hated them. Like they tried to sell Milwaukee Special Reserve in Louisiana in 2010. I remember this, 2010. They had Milwaukee Special Reserve 30 packs. 30 packs now, 12-ounce cans. $10.99. No repurchase. People bought it one time, never again. I think some people are bringing it back to the store and saying, I'm not drinking this. I want you to take my money back. It was like that big of a fiasco. And after like a month, maybe it was 6 weeks, but I think it was more like a month. You never saw it again. They could not perpetuate that in Louisiana. And Louisiana is a state that it's not exactly erudite. Like their drinking preferences generally revolve around Bud Light, Crown Royal, and Carlo Rossi wine. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not exactly highfalutin country club. It's pretty basic. But even in a state like Louisiana, which is what I just described, they could not give away 30 packs of Milwaukee Special Reserve and Special Reserve Ice. Those were so horrendously bad. So when you're buying beer, you get too low, it can be very treacherous. But they can't get it. They can't sell it. They tried doing that at Whole Foods Market. Whole Foods. They had something called Gold Mine Lager from the wine group, but it was brewed at Genesee Brewing. Because if you looked at the can carefully, it said Rochester, New York. I said, oh, it was pretty dang nasty. It was it was pretty unpleasant. It was grim. Like that's what they should have put on their tagline. It's pretty grim. And they tried this at Walgreens with their big flats. After 1 week, like literally 1 week, they were trying to unload it. It was bad. It was bad, bad. So there is some, I'm not saying it's a high standard, but there is some standard of quality expectation in Louisiana. But if you're going to go really cheap, really, really cheap, if you're going to lowball it, I would say liquor is your best bet in Louisiana. I can't speak for the 49 states. Wine would be your second best bet because you can go to Walmart and get oak leaf, and they've really improved their products. So, and then beer would be the most dangerous experiment, I think. All right, let's look at the comments, and then we're going to close it out. So I would say it's a tie. I can't really tell them apart, but I'll just play along with it like it's a real show. And I'll say this is the cane run because it might be a little sweeter, but I don't think it really is. So this is basically a meaningless determination. But what do they know? It's the Pontalba. Well, I hope they're accurate about my age. I'm always accurate about my age. So I got it wrong, but that doesn't mean much because I told you already I couldn't really tell them apart. All right, let's go with the comments, and I'm going to get off of this and try to sit around in my house and think about how I'm going to try to cut my grass today and not get too depressed. I mean, I don't really get depressed. I'll find something to do, but I would like to cut the grass. All right. Center, get it straight, Namaste. Good morning, Ron, says the Dixie Bassman. These two are very similar, and I personally wouldn't be surprised to find out that they were the same formula. I'm currently dealing with Arthur. Itis. He's the meanest of Itis brothers. I don't know what that means. I agree on the topic. I have a phobia, says Mackerel. Nina Yorty from Rhode Island, Little Rhodey. Morning, Ron. Need seltzer for a nice egg cream. I'm going to let you buy that because me and seltzer do not get along very well. Dan Page says, good morning, Jay. Quick question. With your hobby, does every day feel like a vacation? No, because I don't actually review or taste beer, wine, and liquor. I mean, I don't review. I guess I do taste. I don't review, make recordings of beer, wine, and liquor every actual day. And I know there's been at least, I'm going to say 5 days, but it's probably more like 4. But I think there's 5 days since 1996 that I have not tasted or drunk beer, wine, or liquor. So no, every day does not feel like a vacation. I would say that more, for the large extent, every day feels like a vacation, but not technically every day. Rock gut for a homeless guy should be world class. Could be world class. Rot gut for a homeless guy could be world class. But they'll work for food. Can't find Keystone Light anywhere. Keystone supply issues. Oh yeah, well they got hacked. Remember their brewery was hacked, so they had to prioritize. Naturally, Miller Lite was going to be produced first after the hack. Then I suppose Miller High Life. Miller Genuine Draft was far down the trough. And then things like Schlitz, Keystone Light, and Keystone Ice were going to be put on the back burner. So, yeah, you could look at some disruption like Colonial Pipeline. Dixie Baseman says, Costco and Sam's Club had their own beer. And if I recall, one was mediocre at best, and the other one was a crime against nature from memory, and I can't recall which one was worse. Well, I can speak to that for a moment. I had the Costco light beer. It was called what was that like little fake name that Costco had for their contract brewed beers. They called it, oh, somebody sent it to me. I don't know why they would ever waste a penny sending that to me. But it was called, something, something beer. Oh, I gave it a C, and that was generous. That was a, yeah, come on, man. You know what I'm talking about. All right, Craft Beer Tastic says, around 10 years ago, I could buy a Sierra Nevada Torpedo for around $11.99 a 12-pack. Oh, man. I can remember in 2011, I could go to Mathern's and get Sierra Nevada Torpedo for $7.99. No. $7.49 a 6-pack. $7.49 a 6-pack for one of the great, and I mean great, India Pale Ales of this world. I really use Sierra Nevada Torpedo as my baseline, because if I'm paying all kind of outrageous prices for an IPA, which is common these days, and it cannot come close to Sierra Nevada Torpedo, I'm going to attack it. I will attack it. Now, but that's largely gone. Now even Sierra Nevada's Torpedo would be very expensive. Ronnie S. says, there's Ron, back at it. Here I am, back at it. Nina Yordi said, tried the fruit beer assortment, reviewed at Jenny. Sea Dog, avoid. Yeah, fruit flavored beers is a real brood. I knew what you meant. Fruit flavored beers is a real challenge. What is my opinion about most fruit flavored beers? I would say avoid them. Are there exceptions to that rule? There are exceptions. And it's funny in a way, because a lot of the cheapest products, like your Seagram's Seagram's Spiked, the Smirnoff Ice Smash, the Steel Reserve Alloy Series, the MD 2020 flavored ales from Anheuser-Busch, flavored malt beverage from Anheuser-Busch of all people. The Mike's Harder. Now these products are very cheap. They're very cheap. Yet they have something that's kind of nice about them. There's something kind of enjoyable. Like you never drink them and say, oh, it's got this nasty sideline taste profile that just turns my stomach. You never say that. Now you might drink a 23.5 ounce can and then later on say, where am I? Where do I go to? Who wrote all this on my Facebook page? And you realize it was you. But when you get a lot of craft beer flavored beers, man, those things can be bad. They can be really bad. They'll taste like chalk, off-putting cocoa powder. They'll just be really exotic and bad. Exciting and not new and not exciting. So I guess you could say that a lot of these mass-produced flavored products, and they use natural flavoring, and I tried to communicate that to people on Alcohol Eggs, that natural flavoring and artificial flavoring are not the same thing. Natural flavoring and artificial flavoring are not the same thing. And these people got extremely hostile, defensive, paranoid. And they were telling me, oh, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. I said, I'm not wrong. I said, did you read the Tax and Trade Bureau guidelines, the Food and Drug Administration guidelines? My opinion or my perception of what they were saying was that they had not, in fact, read those guidelines. Because the answers they gave were not in line with the reality of the situation. So they were saying, Well, no, they were just saying things that didn't add up. Like, well, what were they saying? Things like, well, if a company uses chemicals, it can taste like orange. And I said, yeah, if a company uses chemicals and it tastes like orange, that's what we call an artificial flavoring. And I showed footnotes. I said, if they use orange peel or orange pulp or orange puree or dehydrated orange, and it tastes like orange, that's what we call natural flavoring, because it's an orange flavor that is derived from actual oranges. And it was totally like over their head. They were saying, well, it's not an actual orange. And I was saying, what are you talking about? Do you think brewing companies, beer companies have sacks of like fresh oranges from Orlando coming in? What are you saying to me? But they didn't keep the argument going because I think they realized they were dealing with a bad situation on their end. Okay, Ronnie S says, I like fruit flavored beers. I was going to join last night, but something came up. Well, that happens, par for the course, so to speak. Those rum challenges must be fun. They are fun. Sipping rum neat is highly underrated in my opinion. I agree with that. I would say most people that sip or deal with rum are doing cocktails almost exclusively. And I can understand that. But I think when you get down to the if you sort of like reduce the equation to the lowest reduction, like 2/3, so to speak, 1/3, 1/2, then you can kind of perceive that these rums do have an embedded quality or maybe lack of quality. I haven't noticed too much lack of quality, but yeah, they're very interesting, and it's just I think that the flavor interaction and all that evaluation thing is kind of difficult, so people just don't do it. They don't do it. Look on the internet and see how many blind rum taste challenges you can find, especially for white, silver, clear rum. Well, guess what? You'll see one person doing it. I think we know who that is. So I would like to see more people do it, but I don't have much confidence that will happen. All right, okay, yeah. All right, so in a few days, 3-4 days, we're going to do Cane Run against Caliber. Well, that won't be much of a challenge because there's no rum I ever tried that tastes like rock candy blended with strawberry shortcake. Well, it's an interesting product nonetheless. Thanks for watching this video production.